Oh, hey, we're live, pals. Wow. Okay. I'm still testing out this feature on my phone. I've only done it once before, and I did it like in my car. But man, I'm here in my hotel just outside of Lowell, Massachusetts, and I was gonna go check out the sights of Boston and Lowell and see what what it had to offer. But it's actually cold and raining out here, and so I'm like, yep, I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna hang out in my hotel room and just chill. And so some of you guys come to our YouTube channel just for the impact stuff that I do, and I really appreciate you guys checking it out. So earlier today, I recorded a brace for impact, but I did it on my laptop. And I don't have my microphone, I don't have any of my lights or nothing like that, so the video quality just wasn't very good. So I was like, you know what, it's not up to our standard. So I didn't clip it for YouTube. And besides, if I downloaded it and then had to re-upload all the stuff, the Wi-Fi here is not good enough to be able to do that. It'd take me a while. So I am not going to be clipping the I'm not going to be clipping the brace for impact, and it didn't look good anyway, so I'm not going to be releasing it on YouTube. Although if you're a Patreon subscriber, it's up there now. I guess for $5 a month, you could see me in shitty lighting with no microphone, if you want. The content is good, but I just didn't think that the video quality was up to our standards, so I didn't put it out. So. But anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about on Brace for Impact today that I didn't actually get to was I talked about PCO leaving the company. I talked to you guys about that last week. He had told Pat Laprade, who was a French Canadian journalist there, that he was leaving, and Pat had released that information. Well, he ended up doing Pat's podcast and kind of told the backstory of what was leading up to his release, or not his release, about his backstory of why he was leaving, or why he gave his notice. And it was leading up to White Plains, New York at Impact 1000. They were starting the negotiations. He kind of had a dollar figure amount, and they were wanting to sign him. He wanted to stay, and they had some negotiating then. But then after that, the trail kind of went cold. Like they didn't really talk for a while. So by the time they had got to the Memphis tapings, he decided to go ahead and give his notice. And then at the same time, a ton of WWE talent got released. And he stated, and this is his words that he said to Pat Laprade, okay? He said that he heard three names being tossed around that Impact were interested in signing. One being Dolph Ziggler, two being Mustafa Ali, and the third one being Matt Riddle. And I am not surprised that Impact would want to sign them. I don't know. First of all, Riddle, or not Riddle, but first Dolph Ziggler, I just don't. He just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to go to a smaller company that's not in front of a bunch of people. He never really worked the indies. He's been a WWE lifer his whole career, so I just don't see him doing that. I honestly think he's going to be telling shitty jokes at the Comedy Store in LA. Like unless AEW signs him, I just do not see him, out there hustling. Mustafa Ali, I could see AEW wanting him, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that Ali would end up in Impact. I think that he would have a good run in Impact, and he didn't have to sign a long-term deal. He can do a 6 month or a year or whatever, and kind of rebuild himself and rebrand himself, and then use that as a platform to either go back to WWE, which he probably wouldn't want to do considering he was asking us for release, or to go to AEW or something like that. So I do see that as actually like a real possibility. Now, the most interesting one to me is Matt Riddle. Now, we're going to get to some of the other drama surrounding Matt Riddle, but let's just talk about Matt Riddle, the wrestler and the talent. He's a very, very talented guy. And when he got signed to WWE, I was on the train that he would be their world champion. I just thought he was that good. I think he's good in the ring. I think they made him into a cartoon character, and once they did that, he was no longer world champion material, but he was still very over because WWE likes those cartoon characters. Like that universe really enjoys that. So they made him into a cartoon, and then that made him really over. Thus, he's selling more T-shirts, making a lot of money. But once he did that, he became more of a Muppet, right? Versus a badass UFC fighter that's in here who's a fun guy that also likes to kick ass. So now I don't think that was a mistake by WWE because they made a lot of money with him doing that. That just wasn't my preference for him. I did not like that they did that with him. They turned him into kind of just a goofball, right? Which, if you watched him on The Ultimate Fighter years ago, he very much is a goofball. He likes to, tell jokes and be stupid and be funny, and he's a pothead, and he is kind of a sillier guy. They just went so far over the top with it because that's how they do their characters. They take part of your personality and they make you way over the top. So I get why they did it, and I get why they treated him like that. And I don't think that was the wrong thing to do or a bad thing. I just think it just didn't work for me what I wanted to see from him. Because on his indie run, I liked him mixing in a lot of his MMA stuff, and the comparisons are there to Kevin Von Erich. I think just because they look a lot alike and they wrestle with no shoes on, they're very slender, just jacked bodies, and they look like they can kick ass. They're not the biggest guys, but you could tell that they can kick ass. Um, so I liked what he did on the indie scene, and so I felt like his run in WWE was a bit of a disappointment to me. Um, that being said, he's a guy that I have followed for a long time. I was a fan of his on The Ultimate Fighter. I was a fan of his in UFC. I didn't feel that he was wrongfully fired because even though now it's okay to smoke marijuana in the UFC, back then it was illegal. And if you can't control yourself and you can't follow the rules like that, you got to go. And he failed 3 straight drug tests. And one of the excuses as to why he smokes marijuana, this is coming from Dana White. Matt Riddle said that he has to smoke marijuana so he doesn't beat up his girlfriend. He was making a joke, but that's still not a good joke to make. Which is just one of the many character issues that you have with Riddle. He's also had some allegations of abuse. Those are just allegations. They have not been proven true. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying they are allegations, and you should really take them seriously. So whichever company does hire him. If he does get hired, they need to do their due diligence and look into the backstory. Talk to him. Talk to some witnesses if you can, and just figure out if this is a guy that you want to take on. There's also allegations that he's a drug addict. He went to drug rehab. Allegations that he has not, gotten over that, which I know from my own story. You never really cured from addiction, but you can go long periods of time without drinking or using, and I don't know that he's been able to do that. I don't know that he has or hasn't. I'm not here to judge one way or the other, but those are the allegations, right? And there's a lot of drama surrounding this guy. So much drama that I just do not see AEW picking him up. So, and because of that, I do see Impact being able to get him if they wanted him for dates. I'm not saying like full-time contract, but I do think that they could get him if they wanted him for some dates because I do see him going back in the Indies. Now, PFL says there's word that PFL is interested. I can see why they'd be interested. He has not fought in a long time. I think that if he were to go back into MMA and have to pass some drug tests, it might not work out for him. Bare knuckle fighting would be interesting. Again, he hasn't really fought professionally in a long time, so I just don't know that that would work out for him. Now, if those companies wanted to just feed him some tomato cans and some scrubs, let him get some dubs, and then he can do some of that on the side while he does some independent work, impact work, whatever. That might be a viable way to make money for him. But he's 35 years old and he's been gone a long time. I just don't know that fighting professionally is within his wheelhouse at this point. So where does that leave him? Should Impact bring him in? They should take a look at it. And if they do have enough conversations with enough people and they feel good about it, right? Have conversations with his previous employer about his behavior and about the allegations surrounding him and why they felt so strongly about keeping him amid all those allegations. I think they should strongly consider it. He is a very talented guy. I think he could be an immediate top guy, immediate player in that promotion. That's if they feel good about all of the stuff surrounding him. Now, if they do the digging and they're like, you know what, I think this guy's a scumbag, then obviously you don't do it. But they should do their due diligence, I would say. But speaking as a pure talent standpoint and not, getting into the character stuff, which I've only read allegations and I know that he's denied them. So now that's all we have at this point. But as far as the talent, goes specifically, he really is a guy that if they were to bring in would be an immediate top player, immediate top guy. He could be a difference maker right away. I don't think he's any type of difference maker for AEW. So that's why they don't need to bring him in. But if you're Impact, I think that he is an immediate difference maker. He is a guy that could come in right at the top of the card, have really good matches. He can get people talking. Some of it will be bad, but you know he may be worth it, or he might not. I don't know. That's for them to figure out. But if they did, I would really be interested to see how it all plays out. But I would enter that relationship very cautiously, and make sure that you're protecting yourself from him, and his behavior. I do know, as you know, a lot of media guys don't really like him. I know that a lot of wrestlers do, and so I think that he would have some people vouching for him. So Riddle to Impact is a very interesting possibility that I think is actually a legitimate possibility, because he has. Look, he's the only guy that I've ever heard of that got fired by UFC. He got fired by Bellator, and now he's been fired by WWE. Now, could Impact be the next one? I don't know, but he has been fired from every major combat promotion that he's ever worked for. So but because he is so talented, I just see another company picking him up. But I just don't think AEW will. I think that Impact probably will. So, but we'll keep a look at it. We'll keep our eye on it, and we'll see exactly how it all goes down. But now that I'm just stuck here in my hotel room, you know, I might try to go live again soon if anything breaks, because I am not going to go out there in that cold. It's actually not that cold, but it's freaking raining the whole time, and that's no fun. I'm not going to be out there walking around. I really want to go see Boston. I've never been to downtown Boston, so I'm hoping that I get some sunshine this weekend and I can go check it out. But hey, guys, thank you for hanging out with me, and until next time, mahalo.